And we're live.
Hey y'all, this is Naim and from the No Nonsense Podcast. I'm your host. Today is alongside my co-host here, Oscar Montiel. Today is Wednesday, July 8th, 2020. Oh yeah, I have to register for the NABS thing. Just remembered that. Um, and I am here with my co-host Oscar Montiel. We have a great show in store. How are you, Oscar?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well, just navigating COVID as we all do and taking it one step at a time, just staying alive. No full moon sunsets like there were last 4th of July, but the weather's still nice and hot outside.
Yeah. Well, Naeem, this is actually a very special episode because, it's our first ever multiple um, episode where we have just not just one, not just two, but we have three guests on our show. Um,
And
some
some
will
folks are
some will
participating through the live audience too.
yeah, some are volunteered to speak, but some just chose to be in the audience. So folks, this is a great podcast episode that we're looking forward to. What we're gonna do today, or in this episode, is talk about our past episodes that we have filmed so far. For those who just came into the conversation, I posted the link to our YouTube channel in the chat down below. So please subscribe, like this video whenever we post it. We usually go live 3 to 4 times a week. But anyways, so without further ado, let's do some introductions. Naeem, would you like to call the unfortunate people here all live with us out?
So I am so grateful and so honored to have who we have this evening. We have a great team with us, and they've put up so much to be willing to join us this evening. Everyone could be doing their thing with their family and friends, but they came out to join us. So we really appreciate it. And there were some technical difficulties at the beginning, but we have a great crew here. Some are some old faces, like our good friend Jason Alamio. Hi, Jason. What's up?
Hi Naeem, how's it going?
It's going
Good to
very
be
well.
back.
How are things out in Vegas?
They're good.
They're
Good to be
good.
back. If casinos are debating whether to close. School is gonna start in the fall, and it's hot, so sweaty, and but everything's fine. Everything's normal, as can be, and yeah.
That is amazing. Would you like to tell our other guests and just the general folks here who you are and a little bit about yourself? Just drop us like a
And also
elevator
what
pitch, if
you
you will.
and also what you have been doing on our channel as well.
Yeah. The role you've played a great instrumental role in sewing the fabric of this channel.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So I have sorry, I was just the Apple Watch is making me exercise, and if I'm breathing heavy, it's because of that. And I stopped once you called my name. So I'm a college student. I haven't graduated as of yet. I'm a communications studies major and a journalism minor. Communications with a specific focus in journalism. I am also a podcast person myself. I have my own podcast where I discuss political things and entertainment and technology. I am an assistive technology teacher. I um, teach clients remotely now that coronavirus is on, and also in person. Less of that now, but I it's my own independently owned small tiny business, and I'm a food lover. I love shows. I love tech. I love hanging out with friends and talking. And as for the podcast here, I've just been a guest twice. I have, kind of spoken behind the scenes to the two awesome co-hosts of this podcast, and we've just kind of all been giving each other advice on um, maybe how to say things, maybe what kinds of marketing we could do, maybe what kinds of just topics. I mean, just anything like that. And so that's pretty much me. And I love sports like Oscar and all of that. So that's pretty much just me in a few sentences.
Jason's really an amazing person and he has so much to offer, but so do some new guests who are on our show, who, if you guys have been subscribed to our channel, you're just meeting for the first time. I'd like to first welcome to our stage and introduce Miss Sarah Ahmed. Sarah is a good friend of mine. We go way back. We met at Northern Virginia Community College, taking a Middle East history course and also an Arabic course together. And we also took an online Arabic course together, I believe. And there was so much I learned from her, and we've shared so much pleasant discourse together, and I hope there's much I was able to offer to her. So without further ado, I'd like to offer Sarah the honor and privilege of introducing herself. And thank you, Sarah, for giving us the privilege of your time.
Of course. Okay, well, my name is Sarah. I'm currently a UVA student. I'm majoring in psychology and minoring in philosophy. What was virtually blind? I don't know. I'm completely seeing. I'm not legally blind. So I'm in the outside looking in right now. And yeah, I'm honored to be here.
Oh, Naim left the call. I'll let him in. Juliana, would you like to introduce yourself while I try to get Naim back onto the call?
Of course. I'm Juliana and I'm 20. And for me, I can see a little bit. I consider myself legally blind. I know Naim from a blindness program called Blind Inc. that we went to together in 2018.
All right. Let me see what else we have. Oh, Jason, can you take over for a few seconds? I'm just double checking something. Uh-oh, we lost Naim.
It says you stopped recording, Oscar.
Oh, great.
You might want to double check that.
Oh, great.
Now it's back on recording.
Oh, it's recording.
Yeah.
All right. What you want me to take over while you get them?
Do me a favor. Can you try to see if you can add him?
Yeah. Let me send him some messages. See if he'll come back on.
It's probably because his phone died out.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll join back. You might want to ask them questions while, unless you want me to help you with that while you get them, or
I have a few questions.
Okay.
That Naim and I were thinking of. So you two, the purpose that we brought you on was to, because we're also looking for new ideas for our episodes, and we're trying to find like new guest hosts. Right now we've had a total of one, two two guests on our show. Jason, who's on here, and another person named V Gaspa. So we're currently looking for more ideas to implement into our channel, uh, stuff like that. So I want to get your guys' opinions on a few episodes that we're planning on doing, and what you guys would like to jump in on. So the first episode, well, the first few episodes that we had in mind were different different ways of going about, buying food and stuff like that. So I know that, around around the world, with this COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people, either just grocery shop for what's needed, and sometimes, they don't get all what they need, all what they need. So, Naeem and I were talking about, different restaurants that now, due to the pandemic, use Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub to, stay in business. Obviously, Grubhub, you know, is now their tagline is together, we can save the restaurants we love. So that's an episode idea that Naeem and I were talking about. Another one that we're planning on doing is talking about dreams. Um, how, a blind individual perceives dreams, because that is a question I personally, you know, was asked by my own brother, because I'm uh, a person with uh, that's blind and has minimal to no light perception. So I honestly had no answer for him. So, we were talking about, Naeem and I were talking about um, t- getting that topic out there, how a blind person perceives dreams, and how a sighted person perceives dreams. Another one, let me see, family dynamics, how, we interact daily with our families, just because now with COVID-19, it's time to, bond with your immediate family since you're stuck at home. Obviously, Jason, I don't know if you told us or told them, told our viewers and our guests here what we have been discussing here on our podcast. Do you want to, divulge a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Juliana and Sarah, very nice to meet you both, by the way. I have heard of you both. Naeem, me and him both are really, really, really talkative. So, Naeem, uh, um, so Naeem has told me about you both, and don't worry, nice things, pretty great things actually. One podcast that I was on was about we talked about technology, specifically technology and privacy, and internet browsing, and um, data and things like that. And I went on a rant about capitalism and free speech and social media. There was another episode where they had V Gaspa on, and it was very interesting. They talked about trips to Italy and the way teachers treated blind kids, which, Sarah, that would be a really informative podcast for you. They talked about being a counselor for the blind, um, dating, all kinds of good topics in that one. Naeem did a story about his weight loss journey, and that was a pretty good podcast. Oscar, I finally got to watch it, and don't worry, I didn't eat. And if any of you watch that in the audience, or Sarah or Juliana, do not eat anything because
Yeah,
oh,
it's very graphic.
very rough. It's not something you want your stomach to hear, or the food inside. Um, they did another podcast where it was just them kind of getting getting the feel and letting the audience get to know them. And I think you had Naim's cousin on. Is that am
Oh
I
yeah, I completely forgot about him. My bad, Obey. If you're watching this later on, yeah, we were talking about career goals and pursuits. That episode, because he's in a boat where he doesn't know. He likes to, try new things, but he wants to, stick to find a passion and stick to it. So, Naeem and I were talking to him about that. Um,
Am I back? Could you
yeah,
guys hear
you're
me?
back. Yeah, you're back.
Okay. If you guys wouldn't mind, so we went through introductions, I will gather. Sarah, you were able to introduce yourself. Juliana, were you able to introduce yourself?
Yes.
Yes, and Sarah as well.
Yes, she was.
Okay. I'm so grateful to have you guys here. I know, hey Sarah. Um, I know we got us we got Jason and Oscar talking about our previous episodes. Were you guys able to? So we also did some personal episodes. Oscar and I did. So we had the ones with
Yeah,
the guest
we
hosts. I
talked
know.
about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So Naeem, I also include. I also was talking about briefly about what our next episodes potentially will look like. Jason was actually gonna was talking reviewing our episodes, and also was gonna talk about the episodes that he's done with us, and what he's gonna do with us in the future. So
Yeah,
we can
so
let.
Jason has a special series with us called Tech Talk with Jason Alamio, and he's always informative. Him and Oscar give the tech novice a few lessons every so often because I can't begin to guess how it works with data mining, with cybersecurity, with protection of private information, with big tech companies. And we were hearing horrifying things about TikTok yesterday, and Christopher Wray from the FBI was telling us some horrifying things yesterday. So
By
it's
the
good
way,
to
that's
be
something that we can talk
informed.
about, Jason, on our next episode, since it has to do with tech.
Yeah, there's
Right.
some developments from TikTok, and of course, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook had a meeting with the Anti-Defamation League (ADL) yesterday. That meeting was not to ADL's satisfaction, but Zuckerberg maintained that his platform he wants to be a free speech platform. So there's some gray zone in there. I don't know whether I fully support ADL, fully support Mark Zuckerberg, or I'm somewhere in the middle in that regard. But we can talk about that on a future episode, hopefully. Um, we
So,
have an episode on dreams and how are dreams
oh,
perceived
I
by the
I already
blind
talked
and the
about it.
sighted. Okay,
Yeah,
good,
I already
good.
talked about it.
So without further ado, it sounds like you guys covered a whole bunch. That's what happens when my phone dies out. It takes like 10 minutes to get rebooted. And thank you for whoever reached out to me via Skype and added me back in because I was about to do that and luckily they came and saved me. I also reached out
Yeah,
to
I
our chief marketing officer, Yusuf Khalil, in hopes he can join us. I'm not sure that he will because I kind of sent him a last minute invitation. And if he will, then maybe he could talk to us about marketing strategies for our podcast. Anyway, without further ado, Oscar, where do we stand?
So let's talk a little bit more on what we're gonna do next with Jason. With our next with continuing our series with Jason, and then we can move into new stuff.
Yeah, because we have
Talk
our
about.
guests here. We have our guests here, and they have lots of great concepts and contents they want to add. So let's hear from Jason first. So Jason, talk to us about your vision of our series.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not in control of it because it is your podcast. But basically, what we're gonna talk about is data and privacy, and it's not only data and privacy, but we had a debate on Mac versus PC. I hope for round two. I've been studying Oscar, and uh, we're going to basically talk anything and everything technology. It's slowly building. I would hope to maybe go into reviewing products, to talking about the business ventures that companies have gone into, how average people use technology, why they need to know privacy. Um, that's pretty much right now where the series is going. I would hope to make it informative and fun. Um, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing in our series.
Sarah and Juliana, do you guys have like any ideas that you guys would like to see us, talk about either with you guys as guests, or just, the three, me, Jason, Naeem, and myself, or just me and Naeem, or
Yeah.
Or
any other
all
guests?
five of us as well. We
Yeah.
can put
Yeah.
together
Uh,
another shebang like this one.
I mean, from the outside looking in, I'm really fascinated about what your concepts are on like visual centered parts of society. Like, what do you think about race, or do you even notice race at all? Do you do you see blindness at all as a disability? Because for you, it could be like a way of life. It's like a sense that you never had. So it's like if there was a sixth sense that I never had. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Do you guys necessarily think you guys are missing anything? And is there a whole community, people with vision don't know about with blind people, because I
Yeah.
just found out about the whole uh, ASL community and the deaf community. So I was wondering if you guys had that sort of strength in the community.
Yep. There's a whole community called the National Federation of the Blind. That's where the community mostly is.
So the National
That's really cool.
Federation of the Blind is an apolitical, nonpartisan advocacy group for the blind, with a mission of having the blind folks be able to, and it's National Federation of the Blind, so it's led by blind individuals, made for blind folks to live the lives they want, the lives they envision for themselves, the lives they imagine for themselves. And we work on many different capacities, from social outreach to advocacy and legislation. Make sure that legislation is fair to blind folks on Capitol Hill and the state and national level. We also do lots of focus groups. We have a student division which focuses on student needs, student concerns, student rights and responsibilities. We have a guide dog users division. We have a blind merchants division, which is all small business owners and vendors and who are
Blind
blind
parents.
individuals as well. Blind parents division. Um, we have a variety of divisions, but the National Federation of the Blind is one, and it's actually the largest and oldest organization of the organized blind. There
Do you
are
mind if
other
I talk about
organizations out there.
yeah, do you mind if I talk about one?
Yeah, please go ahead and talk about any of the other organizations, and
So
then we could talk
there's
about their upcoming conventions as well.
Yeah.
well, American Council for the Blind is more tailored for, helping. Ooh, I have to double check my research because I remember I did a research project on this once. American Council for the Blind, what they do is to make sure that things are accessible, also to us. So I don't know if you noticed, Sarah at the movies, if you've seen like blind people with like headphone, looking things. That is actually what it's called. What is called audio description. So what that is it um, like a automated machine or someone describes the scene to us, what's going on through those headphones and stuff like that. So that's what the American Council does. Also for the blind, they also help out with making sure that we get certain benefits, making sure that our home life is as is as normal as it can be, as well. So that's the American Council for the Blind. There are also many others, but those are the main two that come to mind mostly.
I I I um I wanted to add, if I may, Naim and
Yeah, go ahead.
Oscar. Sarah, you have some really, really brilliant questions. I am, I so I remember one of them, and you can give me other question on us. Actually, do we see it as a disability? I think more people from the outside world, I'm not saying you specifically, just in general, might see it as a disability. What, at least for me, the way a lot of us see it is, we see it as we have the disability, we aren't the disability. So a lot of us are transitioning from saying disabled people to a person with a disability. Um, you know, uh, we kind of think of it as, you have a broken arm, your arm is broken, you're not broken. You're not saying I'm a blind person anymore. You can, it's not restricted. But a lot of people are transitioning to say, I'm a person who's blind. So my disability doesn't dictate whether I can do certain things. And so, that's kind of, as Juliana and Naim and Oscar have been on that one. It's not that we are the disabilities, we have it, and we adapt and accommodate to do everything else that everyone on the outside does, right? So, yeah.
That's really interesting. Another question I ask is, what's your perception of race?
Naim, you want to take that first?
I'll go ahead and take that. So for me, this is gonna sound like some kumbaya, like hipster stuff, but I think it's a reality for lots of people, more people than we'd like to admit. Race is a non-existent concept. What I mean by that is, I don't know. It just, for me, and I don't know that it has anything to do with my blindness or just my perspective on life. I think it's more so just my general perspective on life. I mean, it's like, look, are we living, breathing human beings? Are there similarities in our DNA? Does the same blood flow through our veins? Yes. So ultimately, black, white, brown, yellow, red don't really matter. We're ultimately the same thing, you know, and we have voiceover screaming in our ears about Donald Trump sending us automated text messages. Sorry, I just got an automated text message from Donald Trump's campaign team. So that was unprecedented and really the sign of the times, right? That's what we're talking about. But anyway, so race. I don't know. Just for me, in short, it doesn't really exist. And you could call me naive for that, but I don't know. It's never been a thing. Hey, my name is Naim. Oh, that doesn't sound like you're Anglo-Saxon or anything like that, or you're from the Anglo-American sphere. Where are you from? I'm from Palestine, but I was born here in the United States. And I think that was what was supposed to make the United States so beautiful. It was supposed to be an experiment where it doesn't matter where you came from, you're here now. And I may sound a little Marxist in ways in saying this, and I'm not by any stretch of the imagination a Marxist, but I don't understand the whole concept of borders, because then that just divides as opposed to unites, Like, why can't the whole world just be one mass happiness? Maybe I'm just a naive optimist. Anyway, that's my thought on race.
Yeah. Mr. Political Podcast, what are your thoughts?
So
Political.
Jason has a podcast called Political Podcast, so that's where Oscar was referring to. Go ahead, Jason.
I love that. And the name's gonna be changing. So, Sarah or Diana, if you have any names for it that you might maybe want to throw out there, I'm not doing anything because I suck at coming up with names. It's a political, technological, and entertainment type podcast. So for me, maybe it's because I'm in a younger generation and I've grown up with people. I've grown up with every race you can imagine. Like New York City, I live in a multi-racial, multi-ethnic city, right? I can walk down my neighborhood and I'll see a person of Asian descent or Asian in the Asian community. I turn right, I'll see an African American person or a Latino person like myself. So to me, race is just something that people are a part of, but I don't see it as an issue. I don't see it as a barrier. I don't see it as a reason why we should judge a person by any means. I see race as just a part of someone, like a disability. I don't consider someone to be disabled. I consider them, to have a disability, but they make it work, right? And I think with race, I think, as Naeem said, if we could just find a way to just love each other, if we could just get on with our lives and not worry if, like, don't worry about what race is sitting at the table next to you. Don't worry about the person teaching your kid if he's black or if he's Mexican or if he's Palestinian or Asian or Arab or just whatever color, creed, culture, race, religion. I don't care. Just be who you are. And I think of like like if you go to a restaurant and let's say me and a white person go to a restaurant, I always get looks. That white person gets stares like, why are you sitting with him, right? And I might look a little more white in my pigmentation, but you look at my eyes and top of my head, whatever, and it looks brown. And I think, for me, I just think if we could I mean, race is such a deep, deep issue. I mean, with various layers that we could talk about. And I know in psychology and even in philosophy, they talk about those. I've taken one or two classes, but I just, for me, the concept of race is not, oh, let's judge people by race. Let's not hire them because of race. It's just, it's who you are as a person, and let's just get on with it. Let's be a part of a greater society. Let's not judge each other by our race. Let's just be free and just leave it there.
Uh, Jason, really, you covered everything that that I was thinking. So Sarah, if you have any more questions, you can
I don't know
feel
if there's
free to
an
ask them.
opportunity to hear Juliana's thoughts. Juliana?
Oh, Juliana, do you want to speak about it or?
Um, um, I don't really know how to explain it like you guys did, but I feel how kind of like how you guys feel. Like it's how you are, and you shouldn't judge people because the color of their skin.
You want to know something really crazy about me? Evidence that race really isn't a thing for me. Because I used to think race was, well, not that I used to think it used to make me who I was, but I used to think I was naturally attracted to folks of one race or another. A long time ago, I used to find the most attractive breed of specimen of humankind on this earth to be tall, muscular, masculine, built black men. But I put a but there. But I found myself um, uh, in uh, romantic involvements with Caucasian women. So I'm trying to find a proper way, using the right racial terms, political correctness terms to describe this. I think what I'm trying to describe here, sorry, I think what I'm trying to describe here is that race doesn't exist in the context of an individual, or for me, it doesn't exist in the context of an individual's appearance. I find people to be at the value of their soul and spirit. And the parallel I tried to draw there was a hypothetical, although a literal. Um, and what I was trying to draw was, I guess, dare you say it, the extreme opposites. Um, and how the extreme opposites appear opposite of what they are, but they're ultimately the same. If I can get attracted to an older black gentleman and a younger white girl at the same time, then I don't think I care about race as much as I care about the person and their individuality. So sorry to take it down the road of romance there for a second, but I think what I was trying to indicate there was in terms of even connectivity, in terms of relatability, in terms of who we are and how we interact with each other. Um, race shouldn't exist. Does it for some? Indeed. I mean, we see what's going on right now, but it shouldn't as far as my purview. Now, I'm not going to be naive and oblivious to the fact that there are racial tensions and there is racial division, and it is being stoked by those who want to keep us away from the real conversation of the class war and the economic inequality and economic disparities that are going on not just here in the United States but globally. I think it does exist, but I think racism is an intentional, man made concept of distraction from the real problems, from the ability for us to unite as opposed to for us to remain divided. Unity is what we want, not division. And so long as they can keep race as a prevalent topic, they will continue and continue and continue to divide us. I'm not naive to the racism that's going on. I'm not naive to the religious bigotry either. I am a Muslim, Palestinian, uh, young man here in the United States, so I know how religious bigotry and how racism looks sometimes, unfortunately. And I will not for a second deny that it exists. But in a world, if I were the one who was to draw up the laws, I would say it shouldn't exist. And I think it's an intentional tool to keep us divided and to keep the underdogs down. So we won't unite in one cause of achieving equality or at least equity of resources. Equity, I think, is the key word. We all need to have the ability to access what is our due share on this earth.
Any other questions?
I have a question about political correctness in terms like that. Earlier, I said I found myself attracted to older black men, and then I found myself attracted to younger Caucasian women or white women. What are the proper terms? What are our thoughts? You know, there's a book definition of what proper terms are, but African American, is that a proper term, or does that just limit it to folks from Africa? You know, you have, I think, Kamala Harris, for example. She's black, but she has, I understand it, not too much African in her. I think one of her parents is Jamaican and the other is from India, as in South Asia, and other folks like that who are people of color, are of the black and brown communities, but aren't necessarily African. Could we eliminate the idea of color altogether? Can we just say someone from where they are? Hey, I'm African
Uh,
American, I'm Indian American, I'm Jamaican American. You know, can we eliminate the idea of color, or is that always going to be there?
Yeah, Sarah, go
um,
ahead. Yeah, Sarah, go
I
ahead.
think as an African American, a lot of people take offense. Uh, a lot of Black people in this country take offense to being called African American because their ancestors have been here longer than a lot of Caucasian Americans have. So why are they African American and the other people are just American? But I also think that as African Americans and Asian Americans and other minorities, we have more, we represent our people. Like, even if you like it or not, like, you're probably the only black person in a room in a lot of high stakes situations. uh, you know we need to say that Muhammad Ali is African American. We need to say that Obama is African American because there's just so many people who believe that Africans are just generally uh, disabled and what's the opposite of superior? Inferior. Sorry, that we need to put that in our name so we can lift up our people, because in reality I wouldn't be going to the same school as all you guys um, if Dr. King didn't fight for me, if Rosa Parks didn't fight for me, if the children who first went to white schools didn't fight for me. And
The Little
I'm
Rock Nine, Malcolm
yeah,
X.
exactly. And I'm going to UVA. I'm going to be that one more positive percent of African American in that school, so I can make it easier for the next black girl. So it's this representation, and I think that, is it made up? Yeah. But I feel like this idea that race doesn't exist anymore will disadvantage us, because it does exist. And if you just stop fighting for your people and you're like, okay, well, we're all equal now, then we're gonna lose a lot of that stamina that we already got. No, we're not equal, and I will continue to call myself African American until there's no distinguish between African Americans in all these other areas of life.
But is it not a double-edged sword?
Naim,
Uh,
uh, let's get Jason and Juliana's view on the question that you asked first, and then you can ask the
okay.
yeah.
Someone
Julie,
just remind me double-edged sword before I forget my point.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Juliana,
Go ahead,
do you want
Juliana.
to talk about the question that Naim asked?
And what's the question again?
What was the question, Naim?
Political correctness, identity. Uh, should we have identity? Should we identify as African American, Asian American, Arab American? Should we, or will that be a hindrance in any way to our ability to achieve equality?
Um, certain ones are I don't like Italian American because when you think Italian American it makes you think about Jersey Shore and the mafia, and I don't want to be represented like that. Like my people are not like that. But I know that other races are way more important than that, and they deserve as much respect as everybody else. But if I don't know, because not all the time certain things aren't always politically correct for me. I am not good at talking about like political things.
Jason.
What identity? I mean, I think it should be anybody's choice whether they identify as Asian American or African American. I think that I don't think that we should identify each other. I think the only way we should identify each other is if I tell you I'm Mexican American, right? And I don't mind if people try and identify me, but I think we should feel empowered to. And if people decide not to have any characteristics of identity, that's fine. Although I find it difficult to not characterize yourself. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I, I think what Sarah said is um you know, back then it was so difficult, and it is. I mean, just as a Latino American, even with African American family members and a baby cousin who is, it was massively difficult to be African American and just walk around and try and do anything really. And I think just being able to say that Rosa Parks, you know, got arrested because she stood up for African Americans' rights to ride the bus, and then MLK and John Lewis and others led the 300-day bus boycott that eventually got the attention of the transportation company. Like, I would love to wear that identity every single day. You know, the fact that people fought on that behalf. And for me, I mean, I identify as a Latino American, and it is because I used to say only American, but I now add the Latino because there were people in the Chicano movement and other movements who, you know, like African Americans, built their own version of freedom schools to learn Hispanic heritage and history and reading and writing and math and all kinds of other things that schools weren't teaching. And so I think, you know, and if maybe Sarah can correct me, I feel, you know, maybe for me, it's just the fact that, you know, she did mention Rosa Parks. It's a part of your identity, you know, and it's a good part of your identity. It's a good part of history to remember that there were people who were willing to face the mob, the racist police at that time, and you know, jail time and all kinds of other persecution to get the normal rights that others have been given.
Oscar, your thoughts? I know you are you're ethnically from El Salvador, so I don't know how you identify and
Yeah,
talk about that.
I like what Jason said. I identify as, you know, Latino American. Oh, we lost Jason, but but um, but yeah. I honestly, again, me personally, I try to tread lightly with, you know, identifying people as, you know, black or African American, you know, stuff like that, white, Caucasian, Hispanic, or, you know, stuff like that. I honestly, I'm very careful with that. Oh, and we lost Sarah as well.
We lost Zoe. I mean, pardon. Excuse me, Sarah. You said?
Yeah, I think we lost Sarah.
Sorry, I was sending a text message to someone else who is going to be on one of our future episodes. So I was scheduling a time with her about that.
By
So
the
that's why I
way,
kind of name dropped her
uh,
by accident. Go ahead.
I'm
Jason,
here.
Jason,
you're back.
welcome back. Welcome back,
Can
Jason.
you do me a favor? Can you
Sure.
see who's on the participant list? Because I think I saw someone jump in.
I saw Yusef. Is that
Yusuf, are you with us? I hope he is.
I see Juliana. Juliana, I don't know if Juliana's here. Then hold on.
Yusuf, you might have to unmute. I know sometimes sometimes it automatically mutes people.
I'm trying to see what.
Sorry, you cut out horribly, Jason, if you may repeat that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I guess when I go to where the contents are, it takes me out. I'm trying to figure out how to get to participants.
So you just click on my name. Click on where it says.
And Jason, you're using VoiceOver, right? To let our folks know.
Oh, so you click on where it says meeting with Oscar, and then you click on that, and then the participants should appear.
Jazabella is Juliana.
Yeah.
Naim, me. Okay, so not on this is Sarah, Yusef, Khalil, and that's. I can.
Okay. Well,
ring
Yusuf Khalil, please feel free to join if you can hear us. He's
you
not
can
with us.
type in the chat saying I'm here.
Yeah. Do you want me to ring Sarah?
If that's possible. If we can get her back on the line. If not, then go ahead and ring her. See if we could get her.
Okay.
If Yusuf just wants to join in the chat, he's also welcome to do that. I wanted to introduce him as our Chief Marketing Officer.
Naim, can you please I know that we were having a good conversation, but can you please explain to me that, because you kind of didn't tell me until literally you just hopped on. So just can you please explain a little bit more?
Okay, so I thought we had this come up before we recorded, but that's okay. We have an addition to our group who is willing to join us here in marketing and advertising via social media and other mechanisms, behind the scenes mechanisms. So I wanted to give him a chance to introduce himself and just join the team. If that's not possible, Yusuf, tonight, I don't know that you can hear us. Then okay, maybe I should get him that in the chat, or I should ring him separately. We would like to hear his voice, introduce him to our viewers. All right, so where were we? We were talking about racial identity, right? Do we have Sarah back, by the way?
No.
Okay.
Naim, I think you should text her and see if she either had to, leave the conversation, or if she got kicked out.
Okay, I'll send her a message right now. Hold on.
But
you guys continue the conversation as I do that.
Well, here's the thing: you didn't ask your double-edged sword question, so we really can't.
Oh, we can. Juliana, I'd like to. Can I ask a question? Is that
Yeah. This is a conversation. Just have at it, everyone. We're all family.
Yeah, you can ask questions.
Yeah. So, do you I know you went to Blinding, and I think the director is it's a gentleman. I met him in 2017.
No, it's I got an answer. The director is now Jen Kennedy.
Jen Kennedy, that's right. And Jen Kennedy was in the Utah affiliate. She's an honorary member of the Nevada affiliate. Juliana, do you live in Minnesota, or do you live in another part of the country?
I live in Arizona. I just went to that camp for the summer because I had already gone to the good camp in my state 2 times, and the other one was against NFB, so I didn't want to go to that one. So I went to one of the ones out of state that the VR would pay for. So, and I didn't go to what do you call it? I didn't go to the Colorado one because they said they were gonna do outdoor things, and I'm not a fan of that. And then yeah, so I went to the Blind Ink, and I really enjoyed it.
And your major was what again? I'm not sure I caught that.
My major?
Yes, I'm not sure if are you going to college or anything like that?
I'm doing job exploration right now because VR won't pay for my dream job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what is your dream job?
I wanted to be a club DJ.
Now that is awesome. Do you do like turntables and or vinyl, or what do you do?
I do mixes on my computer. My computer's broken right now. But when it gets fixed, I'm getting back to that. And then
So
I'm gonna start posting them on YouTube.
And so, do you mainly
So
do like electronic EDM? Do you do just regular music? Do you have a soundboard, or is it all electronic?
I do a mix of different types of music that I like. That is like a good mix, though. That would sound good together for a more eclectic taste.
so mixing, does that mean like that's the digital production stuff like you would see with isn't that the stuff that Kanye West got started in?
Yeah, you can do production with it, or you can what do you call it? You can just like be like a DJ, like club style, where you just put songs together to get the people moving.
Wow, that's fun stuff. I haven't been to a party in a while with coronavirus and everything, or COVID-19 as
Fun
it's more
fact,
properly known.
fun fact, Naeem. So, a mutual friend of ours, that we talk to like weekly. He's going to a wedding, um, in about a month's time, and I think it's gonna be like 20 people or something like that at that wedding.
So a social distance type wedding. Yeah, that's probably what's happening more often these days because people aren't going to put their weddings on hold, I don't think, or I hope not anyway.
No, but I think what you told me is that someone in your family did suggest that they do weddings over Zoom. I don't know. Okay, what's Jason? I think that this is actually a good question. What is your guys' take on doing big events like weddings and
Conventions, because we want to
graduations,
talk about our convention in a little while too.
graduations and stuff like that over Zoom?
I don't like it. I don't want
I
to.
don't either.
If I were getting married and it was over Zoom, I would just say postpone it because that's the stupidest thing ever. I would hate to have a wedding that isn't in real life.
So what
'Cause
I've heard
I love
done
real
is,
life weddings. Sorry.
yeah, what I've heard done, I think for weddings, I don't know if this will meet you in the middle, Juliana, but what I've heard done is the immediate families would get together, and then the other guests would be hosted via Zoom. So the most important folks would all get together in person, while the remaining get together in Zoom, which is kind of sort of an insult to some of the guests. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
still too ridiculous for me to say that I'd like that.
Jason, your
Oh,
thoughts?
by the way, Naeem,
Yeah,
check your phone.
Yes, I got a message.
I agree with Juliana on that. if I was to get married, I want my wife to feel beautiful and perfect, and I'd want everybody to see. Like I mean, it's like okay, fine, it's still happening, but there's nothing like being at a wedding and being in the moment and saying hi to all of your guests and dancing with them and throwing the bouquet
Yeah.
and
Yep.
cutting the cake and I mean just having that picture and people to have memories. Like for example, if your wedding's in Connecticut and you're going with your family or California or Hawaii, people who say like I met my future fiance at the wedding, or I met my new friend or my business partner, or oh man, I remember your wedding was so much fun and we went to the beach. And it's just to see people come together in one, like as one. And when the I don't know whoever does the sermon, however you guys call them, the priest, the preacher, the wedding officiator, whatever, like when he says you may kiss the bride, I think it's sweet to see that one kiss, that one thing, watching them come together in the rings. I just think a wedding's beautiful and magical. And I agree with Juliana. I would postpone the wedding just because I mean either I would do one thing or not. I would get married like in a small little ceremony, like just as hey, we're married, and then do the big wedding. Or altogether I would just postpone it and just wait until things clear up and we can get married for real with real
What
people.
about doing like a small wedding, like what I just mentioned with my friend? Because I think what he told me is that there's it's gonna be an in-person wedding, but it's gonna be like 20 people at most, or
I would
25.
I wouldn't, because then again that's still insulting. Like, hey, I thought I was close to you. Like because then that starts things, and I wouldn't want to get married to someone over Zoom.
So, here's my general vision of my wedding, Zoom or non-Zoom. And the idea of Zoom weddings is not just limited to a conversation I had with family members. It is something that some people are actually trying out. I heard. I don't know anyone in my immediate family who's already tried it out, but there's been light discussion in the family. But in terms of people who've already done it, there are folks who have in fact already done it. There have even been some Zoom parties of a more adult nature that I don't want to get into, but there've been all kinds of bizarre Zoom parties that have seemed to work out. Read Brave New World to get an idea of what I'm talking about, by Aldous Huxley. So there's a term in there that is very similar to what was going on over Zoom with this one adult party. I know, Jason, you watched the Young Turks. I think Cenk Uygur brought this instance up once in a Young Turks or an AMA. I think I forget what it was. He brought it up. It was a few months ago when Zoom really took off in March and April. But anyway, yeah, y'all should check out the Young Turks. Just a progressive a
No.
news outlet. But anyway, so I personally, wow, we've really got diverted. When Sarah joins us back, we'd like to talk about the double-edged sword. But until then, I personally, I personally envision my wedding to be small and intimate. What I mean by that is, I want all my good friends, but I want to be able to say hi to everyone, spend a little time with everyone at the wedding. I'm not trying to have an 800-person wedding like they have in,
Yeah, and I
some
think you and
Middle
I
Eastern
had
and
this.
Indian cultures.
Yeah, and Naeem, I think you and I had this discussion. I don't know if it was off. I think it was off air. Maybe a little like background to what a wedding would look like in your culture, because I think your culture is a little interesting to say the least when you guys talk about gatherings and stuff like that.
Every culture has a different approach, yes. And then I want to hear Jason's style of wedding, Oscar's
Well,
style of wedding, Juliana's style of wedding, and whoever else can join. Yusuf Khalil is not, or
well,
Yusuf, that's his first name, is not currently available to join us, but he will maybe hopefully drop in to say hello and make his introductions at some point in this episode. Anyway, so yeah, weddings. They're typically
what
very large occasions. You can have some with 500 guests, 400 guests, some with upwards of 800 guests. You invite your immediate family and your immediate family's immediate family, and that's just a typical Middle Eastern wedding. It's really large, it's really loud, it's really partying, and you have to go all out. Like it's one of those it's seen as one of the biggest celebrations of life in the Arab and Middle Eastern cultures. A wedding, it's very important. The marriage ceremony, and it's also in ways shouldn't be this way, I don't think, but in ways it's a symbol of your status too. How extravagant your wedding can be. Are you guys coming in on horseback? Are you guys doing a live band? Are you guys having a buffet of food? And I think in India and Pakistan, they have weddings that go on for 3 days, for example. But there's always the joke of the 40-night wedding too. But the point of the matter is, weddings are very festive. The largest celebration you'd ever have in your life is your wedding in the Middle Eastern culture, and that the sentiment of that I hold to. That is one of the most important, should be one of the most important celebrations of your life, also alongside the birth of your children and graduation of your children and their weddings as well. But I think the sentiment doesn't have to be reflected in quantity. I always believe in reflecting it in the quality of the event and the quality of the occasion. So I like to know every one of my guests. I like to have at least a 30 to 40-minute conversation, or at least 20-minute conversation with each one of my guests at my wedding. I want to have known them and known their role in the journey known as my life by my wedding, I get, inviting cousins, first cousins, second cousins, third cousins, 19th cousins. But at the same time, it kind of is also like, if I only know you by name, or if I know of you, how are you, with all due respect, how are you a part of my journey? My journey that brought me to where
Or
I am
exactly
now.
that
So,
way. Period.
yeah.
Another time was I transferring money to a saving. Uh, I'm sorry, guys. I was talking to someone. I
That was
That was funny.
transferring money to a savings
Yeah,
account.
that's funny.
yeah.
Jason, I don't mind. I don't know if you don't mind, but can I, divulge, how I view like weddings and stuff like that?
Yeah, and then we want to hear Jason and Juliana as well.
Yeah. So me personally, so I've been only to, well, I've been to three weddings, but the first wedding that I went to, I wasn't really close to this friend. I just happened to be the sibling of the friend that got invited, or I was the friend, I was the sibling of the maid of honor. Let's just put it that way. That's how I ended up being
Okay,
invited.
so your sibling was really close to this individual.
Yeah. So I
Nice.
really have nothing to talk about with that wedding, but my mom's second wedding to my stepdad. That was it started off fine. That was okay. It's just that she ended up inviting a lot of her, employees because she has her own like traveling business. Um, so she exports and imports, goods and services outside of United States and El Salvador. But her mistake was that, well, in my opinion, was that she invited not just family, but well, family, yeah, but like also her employees, and she treats her employees more like a friend than I get that you want to treat your employees like good and stuff like that, but not to a point that they're friends because a lot of things happened at that wedding. A lot of people got drunk at that wedding. I was the only one that walked away unscathed. So my view is be smart. Even like big wedding, small wedding, whatever. Be smart with who you invite. Because here's the thing: my sister got married back in December as well, and she had only I believe 25, 30 people, and it was smart because it was just immediate family, some cousins that she kept in contact with in El Salvador, and then her husband's side of the family. So that's something that I really like, that it was more of a relaxed environment. Like there was nothing crazy going on because my mom's wedding was, it started off fine, but it went off the rails like at the tail end.
I just, before I give Jason and Juliana the stage, in the Arab and Muslim weddings, you don't see alcohol, so we never have to worry about drunken mess ups. So You could invite employees and not have to worry about firing them the next morning. But anyway, I don't know that was what you were getting at, but
No, it's not that. It's just more of like, um, they kind of had to work the next day, and a lot of people had to call out just because they were having like killer hangovers and stuff like that.
oh wow, I didn't even know work would be an option the next day at all. But that's amazing. I guess yeah, some
Well,
businesses just have to keep on churning.
my mom thought process it. If you're willing to party, you have
Should
to
be
willing
willing
to
to
accept.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're supposed to
I
will, like with every action, there's a reaction, and you know.
It's like those big billionaires who
Well,
work
something you
so
gotta know is
hard
that
and party so hard.
my mom in El Salvador, even though her business is doing well, the problem with that is a lot of employees you know have a lot of issues with like can have like running issues.
Mm.
So it's just at that party it was just very wild. But anyways,
So Jason or Juliana, who wants to hit the dance floor first?
uh, sure. And this is talking about what my weddings are like. And
Yeah, or what would you view as an ideal wedding, or what's your you said you have Italian roots, right?
yeah,
So how does the maybe like a wedding, and I don't know if you've been to Italian weddings. How do y'all's weddings look like? How would you like yours to look? I guess it's just an open-ended wedding conversation.
our weddings are always fun. I always get real excited when they say that I'm going to a wedding, because when I go to a wedding you eat a lot at our weddings, and they have good music from the DJ, and I dance the whole time, and that's why I love my family's weddings.
COVID's definitely made us eat more, party more, and dance more. So, at least in our homes, I've been improving my twerking skills. All right, Jason.
I would like to know, Juliana, your ideal wedding. What's your ideal wedding? Because Naim basically said he wants the world there, and Oscar
No,
said
no,
he
no. I
wants.
said culturally, that's how it is. I'd like
Oh,
it to be.
okay, okay.
I
I
know
was
every
oh,
single person, so I would say easily 2025.
we
But
also
right.
have another
2025 is just my family members. We have a new member
we
who joined us.
I don't know. I was gonna
Welcome, welcome,
I
say,
whoever it
I
is.
I kind of want to know Juliana's dream wedding. Like, what
yeah,
Yeah,
is it?
Juliana, what do you? Everyone has their wedding dream, so tell
yeah.
us about yours.
Mine's has a lot of music, a lot of dancing, no sitting down allowed. Everybody get up and dance. Invite only people I care about, only certain friends. My family gets invited. Uh, and it won't be that big, but I'll have really good food, lots of food, and really good cake, giant giant pink cake, and and uh, and a really pretty dress, that's that's all I can think of right now.
When Sarah joins us back, I would like actually for the two of you to inform us guys about the true importance and value of the wedding
by
dress. The wedding
by the
dress
way
is really the centerpiece for the
But
for the bride. Go ahead.
by the way, Naeem, I think Zoe joined is from what I saw here.
Okay, Zoe, you're with us. We wanted to bring on
Jason, can you
Zoe. She's going to be in a
Jason,
future episode with us as well.
Jason, can you verify?
Sure, Juliana, your wedding sounds very fun, by the way.
thank you.
Uh, Before I verify, I think my dream wedding, I want to make my wife happy in that. I see my dad from my graduation was like, well, you need to invite your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your this, your that, your that. And for me, maybe I was a bit of an a-hole. I'm not sure if I can curse on here, but uh, I was a bit of an a-hole, and I said I don't want people there that weren't there for me. Unfortunately, some people snuck in and couldn't control that because I was on the graduation stage, so I was not able to throw them out. But I view it as, if you were there for me, if you've been a part of mine and my wife's journeys, if you're important to me, if you're good friends, if you're family members that just were not there, and then you're not going to be there. If you're family members that you were there, you're going to be there. I like music. I like people to have fun at the wedding. I don't really want alcohol at the wedding. Maybe to say, a wedding toast, but even
Oh,
then, I'm
champagne.
champagne, right? But that's it. No one can go. I know my family are big drinkers, but I pretty much say is if you don't like the way me and my wife do our wedding, then I don't know what to tell you. You don't have to come. Don't bore yourself.
No, I
I just want the closest people to me and the closest people to my wife. I don't want 185 people at the wedding. Just I want people that when I call whoever I call, I want to have a good memory with them at the wedding.
no Jason. So I find it funny how my brother-in-law, he like when he drinks, he really drinks. But it's funny because his mom or his grandma don't know. So the reason that there wasn't any of the alcohol and stuff at his wedding is because he was trying to prevent them from finding out that he drinks. Because I remember he asked me I think it was the day before, 2 days before the wedding. He was like, "Are you gonna you know if there's alcohol at the wedding, are you gonna drink?" I'm like, "No, why?" And he just didn't answer. And I asked my sister, I was like, "So why did he ask?" "Oh, it's because he wants to make sure that there is no alcohol, or if there is any alcohol, that he doesn't partake in it, because his grandma and his mom don't know that he drinks."
Indeed, indeed.
Oh, by the way, Naim, who are you going back and forth with? Because I think Zoe rejoined.
Zoe, are you
I
with
see
us now?
someone with a there's someone with a bunch of numbers, D4063 1C.
Yeah, let's. If you guys don't mind, just let us know who you are, or just type it in the chat. If you don't feel like
Yeah.
talking publicly, but please let us
But if
know.
you'd like to chat, just type
Just
something in the
unmute
chat.
yourself.
Otherwise, unmute. I think I have a suspicion Zoe's with us. I hope I didn't throw her out of the call. I don't know what
Again,
happened.
Jason, can you?
Hi, who is
I'm with
this? Okay, you're with us. Do you want to join in the conversation, join the chat, be an audience member? What suits you most?
Um, I can join the chat, I guess.
Okay, yeah, feel free. Feel free. Whatever conveniences you. We're in the middle of a wedding discussion. What is our ideal wedding? And we're talking about different cultural backgrounds, cultural weddings. Our conversation actually started where we were talking about race and race identity, and it sort of evolved into weddings and how different cultures express one of the most joyous times of their lives. So I don't know if there's any wedding stories you'd like to share, or any ideal wedding impression you have, or really anything. It's a free for all. So jump right in where you find most suitable for you.
Okay.
So I think Oscar, you were telling us about the weddings you had been able to attend, and Jason and Juliana, you guys were telling us about your ideal weddings. I I think so. If I had to be really, really honest, look, I talk about wanting an intimate wedding. If I had to be real honest, the ideal wedding for me would be a 3 or 4 day escapade with the most important folks to me, and of course, whomever may be my wife at the time, and her family, my family, and we go out, and good friends, really good friends, and go out and rent a ranch, maybe like a 50, 60 acre type thing, and hopefully there's multiple homes on the property. If not, we'll set up tents or whatever, and just really, really go all out and get, become one with nature. Really just have a good time, party for 72 hours straight. I think we will hire a staff of, culinary experts, and hopefully there'll be a nice large kitchen, and we'll provide all the resources necessary to basically have a constant buffet, and basically, like, if you will, a slice of paradise for 72 hours. Um, and then, the rest of it just, we disappear, myself and my wife, and travel the world for 3 months. Now, this obviously could never happen in COVID, but once the COVID situation passes. So that's really my ideal wedding. I know it sounds quite ambitious, but it's going to have to happen. Fireworks display and all. We're going to have it all come together. So all you guys on the call, of course, are invited, needless to say. But I'm pretty sure some of our live audience members would would like to come. But if we have, I don't know if we've had more folks join, but you're always welcome to join in the conversation wherever suits you most. And yeah, so who's ready for a nature-based wedding? Who's ready to just become one with nature for 72 hours? And I mean the whole tree hugging and everything.
It sounds fun.
So I've been a part of my sister was wedding was a beach wedding. So I
Beach
already
wedding.
yeah.
So did you get to swim in the ocean drunk at 3 a.m? Because that's always fun.
No, so
I've never tried that, by the way, so don't quote me on that. But I'm
No,
pretty sure it's fun.
So we were just there for the wedding portion. My sister and my brother-in-law stayed at because it was at a resort in El
On the
Salvador.
Pacific Ocean, right?
Yeah, and they stayed at the resort, and I really didn't ask. Suppose they actually, I don't know if they were supposed to have a honeymoon or not. That's the thing. Because there was multiple things going on, and I honestly don't know, but.
And Jason, you're the party type, so would you like to join our crazy nature wedding? By the way, no alcohol allowed. Just putting that out there. But that's
Not even rubbing alcohol?
Look, if you need rubbing alcohol because you cut yourself with a
Good
rock
one.
while trying to tread the river,
You
yes,
said
you're welcome to do
no
that, but-
alcohol, so
Okay, let me rephrase that. No drunken debauchery allowed.
Oh, okay. I am I'm not a nature person because remember I'm from the city. I'm from the city. That's just my
But you're from, of all cities, Las Vegas, my friend. So any
yeah,
party's
well,
a good
we're
party in
mainly
Vegas.
party. We mainly party, and I am ready to party. I'm not wanting to like stay in tents and things like that because that's weird. But I mean, if the ranch has a home and there's food and there's music and there's lovely people, I mean, I'm down. I'm down. I
It's
mean,
all right. So
trust me.
you're one of
And
those
if you
who's
bring
requesting
donuts,
the home.
yeah,
Free donuts,
if
of course.
yeah, oh yeah, and if there's endless dessert, endless. I mean, like dessert to the point where like even ranch animals are gonna have to come out and join us. Like, dessert.
I completely forgot that you're an eater. It's probably because
I'm an eater.
It's probably because I haven't met you in person yet.
Yeah,
No
listen,
one-
I went to the doctor last week, and the doctor looked at me last week. He looked at my stomach and his face was like, "Oh boy."
How
So
much do you weigh? How much do you weigh?
about 190. I'm a fluffy.
How
I'm a
tall are
fluffy
you?
You're not
bastard.
bad, man. What are you sitting
How-
here talking about?
How
So
tall are you?
5'6".
You're still not bad.
No,
I mean,
yeah, Naim. He's supposed to be your weight.
Yeah, so to give you an idea, Jason, I am right down at 160 some pounds, 162.
I
But
miss
there was
being.
a time, now I'm a really big eater. So for all of you guys who know Naim, and I think to a certain degree most of you guys know me, I am quite a large eater.
And if you don't, check out our episode on Naim's personal journey.
Yes, that was a really personal. I made myself vulnerable in that episode, but that's that's part of me keeping it real, right, with you guys. That's what I do for the viewers. So there was a time where I hit about 220 or more pounds. I really got up there basically, and you could watch that video to know what was my real inspiration. I turned everything around, and now I'm right around 160 pounds, and couldn't complain, couldn't feel better. And that is why I am getting better at my dancing skills. For all you guys who care to know. Um, but yes, nature is one of my most profound, true. Voiceover is amazing.
Just
Voiceover's
take your
talking, and I lost my train of thought.
just take off your speech.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. So thank you for
Participating in the
the
chat.
the kind support, Zoe. And all those who want to participate in the chat are welcome to do so.
Oh, by the way,
Um,
Naim, did you get any news from Sarah? Because
I had sent Sarah a
She's not
message.
on the
Hopefully
call.
she will. Yeah, hopefully
yeah.
she'll roll back in soon. So because we do
I'm
want to.
curious if Zoe could tell us her dream wedding, because that would be
Yeah, sorry. I went on my nature hocus pocus. So Zoe, we want to give you some room if you'd like to talk about your dream wedding or anything else. This platform's all yours.
Um, I know for my dream wedding, it would maybe be Motown themed. I think. I um uh I think for me, I would do different like African American traditions, like jumping over the broomstick, like my parents did. I think I was more confident in what I wanted when I was like 5 than I am now. But I know I want like some form of soul food and mhm.
You know what I had yesterday as a meal? Sorry to diverge. It really does
Sorry.
sound like a
Sorry.
sorry. What am I from Canada? Sorry. Anyway,
Oh,
chicken and dumplings, very very good stuff.
oh my
And
god!
yes, and I'm looking forward to some good biscuits and gravy coming soon. I'm pretty sure we're gonna keep it
Or
kosher because I come from a Muslim household,
or
so
what
pork
you
wouldn't be in the
called at
biscuits and gravy. But
or
go
what you
ahead.
called it at VRCBVI. You didn't know what it was. Biscuits and soup.
Biscuits and soup. So everyone deserves to hear this story. So I went to a great training center down in Richmond to get my adult blindness skills training. There's a whole episode on that, by the way. Pilot part 2, pilot part 1 and part 2 both talk about it. But the Virginia Rehabilitation Center for the Blind and Vision Impaired, we had a great Chef Ozzy, who we're trying to coordinate with to bring on a future episode to talk about his time serving as a chopped contestant. He actually once prepared quite a delicious breakfast. And I remember it was biscuits and some sort of a gravy sauce, something. So I'm sitting here eating this. And I remember I asked him maybe a few weeks later, I said, you know, Ozzy, that you had a really good dish at breakfast a few Saturdays ago. It was like a soupy thing. And he said, soupy thing? And he was thinking of all the soups he prepared. He's like, you mean chicken noodle soup? You mean vegetable soup? You mean couscous soup? You mean, he starts naming off all these different soups. And he does some good soups, by the way, tomato basil soup. And I'm like, no, it was a breakfast soup. And he's like, a breakfast soup? What kind of a soup is a breakfast soup? I'm sitting here. It takes us about 5 minutes of back and forth. You know, it has balls of dough, blah, blah, yeah, balls of dough, and it has plenty of good, rich flavor. And chunks of meat, and it was good. And what's this? What's this? I said, the biscuit soup, the biscuit soup, and that's what I kept on calling it, the biscuits and soup. He's like, biscuits and soup, and he just, there was obviously a broken communication between him and I, because I was talking about something that made no sense to him, as if I was speaking a foreign language, and he was looking at me like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I love some of the great food he prepares, but
Oh
that
yeah.
was just not connecting. I don't know. I think we lost Juliana. I don't know if that was intentional or accidental, but I'll reach out to her.
Oh, she
Oh,
came back.
hey, Juliana. Welcome
Hey,
back. Yeah.
hey, sorry.
So,
I
no
was trying to
problem.
turn my screen off and I accidentally exited the call.
All right. Whatever whatever works best for you, you're always welcome to do. If you want to turn your screen on or off, I'm not sure how that stuff works, but this is a free for all. So whatever suits you, of course. So yeah. So biscuits and soup, and it took us it took us about 10 or 15 minutes to figure it out, but he finally said, "You mean biscuits and gravy?" And I'm like, "Is that what it's called?" It did have a gravy consistency. So I'm looking forward to some biscuits and gravy soon as well up here in our abode. Keeping it kosher, like I said, because we don't consume
Well, then,
pork around here. Yeah.
well, the thing with that was Naim is that something I love and hate about VRCBVI was that they
That,
made turkey sausage and turkey bacon. So technically, as long as you guys use turkey sausage. I mean, it's the same base. So
yeah, nothing beats some good
now the
duck
only
bacon.
the only thing that I didn't make kosher was my I forgot. Oh, it was mashed potatoes and gravy, and I made the gravy by hand with pork sausage. I think it was.
Kosher treat.
But, anyways, um,
So,
Naeem,
I know, yeah.
so my phone's at 40%. So like I'll let you know when I'm at 20, so we can wrap this up. Just because I don't want to lose the recording, and since I'm using headphones, and Skype for some reason disconnects whenever I disconnect my headphones. So I guess we can go until I'm at 20% and wrap it up then. So
All right, very good. If I
Can we
may
stay on the
ask,
call even when it ends?
yeah, that's fine.
oh
I'm
yeah,
just
for
I'm
sure.
just
We
talking
could we
about the
could definitely stay
recording.
on the call.
I'm just talking
Yeah.
about the recording.
And then we'll also say, we want everyone to know here that we respect your privacy. So ultimately, if you don't want this recording getting on the interwebs, let us know and we won't put it up there. But we're also testing out our recording capabilities while simultaneously, kind of shooting a podcast, but having a free for all. So if anyone,
Yeah,
for any reason, decides they don't want this up on the interwebs or on YouTube or,
we can mark
you
it
know,
as private
yeah,
on the channel, and only the people here can view it.
If you
yes,
Or,
if
private,
that is
no,
preferred.
but so you put it as unlisted and it won't come up on your channel or on search. But if you send it to somebody, they can view it.
yeah, exactly.
Very
So
good.
so
Very good.
before
So,
we move on, I mean, do you
Zoe
guys
sent
because
us a picture. If Zoe, if you don't mind describing the picture to some of us blind folks.
The pictures she sent doesn't look like anything. It looks like it might have mistakenly been taken. It's just
Might have been a test run.
it must have been a snapshot.
Okay, very good stuff. So yeah, you were gonna add something to this conversation. We never. I feel like we were having a very important conversation before we diverted to biscuits and soup. Oh, Zoe, you were talking about your ideal wedding experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead, continue.
I think it would have to take place in New York because that's where everyone in my family lives.
Upstate or right outside the city?
I think right outside of the city, I guess. Would you consider Long Island
Yeah, Long Island's kind of
right
sort of
outside
part
of
of
the
the city sphere.
yeah, and then the rest of my family is is like legitimately in the city, so Bronx and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I hmm,
I think you said Motown theme, right?
yeah,
And
that would
who's your favorite Motown? What if you were to pick a favorite Motown artist? Like, is it all Motown, or would you have other types of music as well?
I think it would be mostly. I guess it
Motown,
wouldn't just be Motown, but it would be like African American
a
artists
large percent.
represented. Yeah.
And like, what song? If you were to pick any Motown artist, and I mean, there's so many of the Jackson Five, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, the originals.
Oh, Stevie Wonders is my jam.
Woo! Isn't she lovely? But that's my favorite, and a bunch of others. Who, if you were to pick that one song for your first dance with your husband, or to get married to, to dance to, as the dance, right? Uh, which Motown song would it be?
Husband or wife? Just, thought we
Um.
would be all inclusive. I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh man.
Tough.
I know, right?
I don't know. It would either be My Girl by the Temptations.
Oh, yep.
Oh, that's
Yep.
a really good
Oh,
song.
yeah.
I don't know if At Last by
Etta James.
yeah, I don't know if she's
Etta
That's a good one.
James
I
has an
would.
amazing
so,
voice.
so I can pretend to be Michelle Obama and my husband can pretend to be Barack.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
So
hey,
is
you can pretend to be Michelle Obama.
Hmm?
You can pretend to be Michelle Obama. Just
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
the 3 minutes. She's beautiful, and you can
and
pretend
she's
to be
really a
her.
strong and influential woman. And so, do you take? Would you say, Zoe, you take Michelle Obama as your role model, or is it too simple to just say role model here?
I think it might be a little too. I think I would consider her a role model. Um, I think during the
She's cutting off.
2008
Oh, you're good.
yeah, I think
You were saying
2008.
during the 2008 election.
oh yeah, I think I looked up to her and I saw her almost like my mother, um, because they had both um, were sort of like first generation college students and grew up in the inner city. Um, and I just saw the love, and I wasn't really paying attention to the politics. I was just excited to see another black family going into the White House. And then I also liked her because I did like a mini pageant, and so I actually got to play Michelle Obama in it. So
Well, Michelle and Barack Obama are both definitely notable figures in terms of making progress in the historical sense. All politics aside, and there I personally have some disagreements with the Obama administration's running of Middle Eastern affairs and foreign policy affairs. But I thought it's fair that I put that out there. But they definitely left a positive mark and raised the bar for many folks. And I think for me, Barack Obama meant. One second, let me turn off my speech here. Thank you. For me, Barack Obama on a more personal level meant an immigrant's son being able to achieve great lengths of success, a first generation American. his father Barack Sr. Was they say shares a faith with me. I identify as Muslim, but other than that, was an immigrant who came and eventually returned to Kenya, but came to the United States for a while, and Barack Jr. Was in that regard first generation. Of course, he had his mother's side who lived here in the United States for a little longer time, but for me, it also represents someone from humble beginnings. When there's dedication, there's effort, and there's work, can reach great accomplishments and great lengths. So I think, in all sincerity, I'd like to say that all of us can agree, regardless of politics, that the Obama family will leave an important legacy in American and world history in the great potential of starting as standard middle class American and achieving high levels of success. And Michelle and Barack both have their individual stories, but their coming together, is just the perfect story, if you will. So I do see, in ways, Barack Obama to be a role model for me. But that was quite. I got really into my feelings there for a second.
You're just fortunate that you just keep me interested, because again, fair warning, I found how to mute you. So
Listen, we were talking.
as long as you keep me interested.
We were talking about Zoe's, saying that Michelle was a role model, and then Naeem took it and
And
went,
then
"Let me tell
Naeem
you about
goes on,
Obama."
yeah, man.
Feel bad for Zoe.
Yeah.
Like,
I am sorry. This is the second time I've done this to you, Zoe. First time I
It's
had to go
okay.
on my chicken and dumplings rant, and now my thoughts on Barack Obama. So, I enjoy listening to Al Green, Doris Duke, Etta James. I think we brought up earlier, but you brought up a good point, Zoe and Jason. What is everyone's, like, maybe top wedding song, or top song that they think will befit their wedding?
So unfortunately, if you don't mind, because I guess I haven't spoken first yet.
Yeah, no, of course. Go ahead, man. This is just a free-form conversation. Tear us apart. Or maybe don't
So
tear me apart. I want to
unfortunately,
be one piece.
so you know what I find interesting is that my sister talked, because now she's married, but she talked about, oh, I'm gonna, this will be my first dance. This will be my first dance. This will be. But it's funny because her first dance was not the song that she originally said that she was gonna dance. So me personally, I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm not gonna be nitpicky about it. Unfortunately, I'm not the best dancer in the world, so I guess I would, have to, with not being, with me not being nitpicky, I guess I have to, start learning how to dance at some point. But it's, yeah.
Come on, y'all.
Naeem, are you okay?
I'm definitely okay, but I
All
want to
right, you know
give
what?
others the opportunity for once.
Yeah,
Jason,
Jason.
you have a wedding song,
yeah, what's
don't
going
you?
on?
Yeah. What, yeah.
A wedding song? I don't know. Maybe "Always and Forever" is a good one. Always and forever, each moment with you is just like a dream to me. You know that one song?
Oh, yeah. It
Uh,
took me a while to
by
think of oh my.
all my life.
Mm,
Oh, special
St-
way.
Stop it.
Yeah, I love that song.
I would love to dance to that song. I'm not sure who said that, Zoe or Juliana. Um,
Me.
Zoe. Yeah, that song is just I think that's the perfect wedding song. It's so simple, it's beautiful. It love you my own special way, with a smile, and it's just take time to tell me you really care. It's just so that song is just the reason I think of it is Bruno Mars was on the Ellen show. There's this girl who made a song like and put it on YouTube saying like Bruno Mars go to prom with me, and since he couldn't do that, he danced with her to that song on the Ellen show. I don't know, I just think as a wedding song, it's like it's so beautiful. It's the perfect waltz song that you can dance at a wedding. I have that song and I always listen to it. But I don't have a definite wedding song. Like, yes, this has to be. I think it has to be like, I think making it special to make it relatable to your wife too.
Yeah.
You don't want to be saying, oh, my husband picked the songs. I don't know, and I don't relate to it. But like "Perfect" by Ed Sheeran too, or Andrea Bocelli and Ed Sheeran. But just having you both of you say, oh man, that's our song. Like that is our song. And just being able to dance to that, it's more beautiful. Zoe, what do you think?
I agree with that. That you should both love the song. I was also thinking,
Do you have a song that you would, I guess, approach your future husband or wife with? I almost said dear future husband, which is a song with Megan Trainor, I believe is her name. So anyway, is there a song you would come with? Because now I'm starting to feel awkward. I have a whole list of songs that I'll approach my future wife with, and I'm like, am I the only one who does this? I'm weird.
Your future wife is gonna be there forever.
I had the
Be
time
there
of my
forever.
life.
Get out of here.
By
Oh, that's a good song.
But I would also want to do the dance that's in the movie.
Oh, that's true. That's good. Yes.
See, I'm not a movie watcher, so I'm not sure of the reference. Sorry.
Me neither.
It's from Dirty Dancing.
It's
an
Time of
80s
My
movie.
Life?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good movie.
At the time
of my life. I should stop singing right now.
We bring you this interruption. Naim, please stop your singing. Brought to you by Walmart.
There's I'll Be There by the Jackson 5.
Oh,
That's
yes.
a good one, yeah.
I'll be
there to comfort you. As you sad to remind me.
I'm gonna have a list of songs once we get off this call.
I have a Mac, and if we want to, I'll figure out how to share audio, and I'll Oh man, there's so
get us all to have a party jam at some point here.
Yeah.
I can be the DJ.
It'll be a Skype party.
Yeah, why not? Skype party. I mean, if you guys are around for the evening. So, Juliana.
Yeah.
I have a list, so I want to go last. Juliana.
Yeah.
Okay, do me a favor.
Or song?
Top 10 for you, because I know that you.
I have so many. Yeah.
So think about it.
Dance songs real quick.
Like, what's the song that you would dance to with your future husband at your wedding? Like, oh man, that's our song. Like the beautiful moment when it's you and him on the dance floor.
Moonlight feels right.
Oh,
Moonlight
yes.
feels right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that song. Could you guys sing us the chorus or something, please?
It just says moonlight feels right in the chorus, but he sings it.
Does it go like this? Moonlight feels right.
I don't think so.
No. Not at all.
Okay.
Oh baby.
Oscar's gonna start using his mute powers in no time.
Yeah, exactly. You're on strike 2, my friend.
Well, guess what, man? I also figured out how to mute, so I can mute you whenever I feel it's.
I'm the host.
Well, I'll test out my
Hey,
powers in
can
a
you
minute
guys
here. All right?
stop fighting like a married couple?
Maybe we are. No, never. Oh, that
I like
might have not been the nicest thing to say.
Yeah, that really. Like,
I
just
said no so fast. It just won't
no.
work out. It just won't.
It's not you,
Anyway,
it's you.
it's not you, it's me. I
nah,
promise.
it's
What
nah,
about
it's the
I don't know.
it's the brotherly bond.
Do you guys
Yeah, we
listen to
are really good brothers. Go ahead.
do you guys listen to classical music at all?
Me
Beethoven, a
no,
little, yeah.
me no. I can't stand it. It's too relaxing.
That's the
I
point
I
of
love
it.
Andrea Bocelli.
Oh yeah, Andrea Bocelli. Did you see his version of Ed Sheeran's "Perfect"?
Yes, that's what I was just talking about.
Oh, were you, man?
Perfect
That
Symphony.
that's
Oh
something I would have at
gosh.
my wedding. That's something I'll have at my wedding. It'll make the
Yes.
blood flow through my veins, and hopefully, I'll be able to be the the ideal partner for my future wife. Um,
What do you,
so
Zoe Juliana? What do you think of that song? The one Ed Sheeran and Andrea Bocelli sang.
I don't know it.
It's
Oh, it's
perfect.
perfect by Ed
yeah,
Sheeran.
it's perfect by Ed Sheeran, but
Oh,
there's
I
an
really love
Andrea
that
Bocelli
song.
piece. Yeah.
He
What was
probably
that?
did it better than the original.
He added his twist. I mean, better. Yeah, I guess that's a subjective. I like it more. I do like it more. So I'll agree
Yeah,
with you on that, Juliana. But I
but
don't know if everyone will agree with us.
do you guys think it perfect is a good song for a wedding dance as you know as
Yes,
girls?
Yes, it is.
yes.
It is. It's the almost any Ed Sheeran song, really.
Yeah, I mean you got Thinking Out Loud.
Yeah.
You've
Ed
got
Sheeran is a
Perfect.
romantic.
Kiss Me is a good one. I love that song.
I,
Um,
I like the one where he talks about the what is it? The photo, the picture. Help me out here, y'all.
Oh,
Help me out.
photograph.
Yeah.
Photograph.
Nothing can hurt.
So you
Sometimes.
can kiss me under the lamppost back on 6th Street. Yeah.
See, I show Ed Sheeran respect, and I don't even try because I don't want to disrespect his great voice. Um,
That's
Oh,
a
I
by
good
the
will be
way,
also
doing that.
you know what we
what's a good
forgot to
one?
do since we
I
were
hate
talking
to.
about it earlier?
Yeah.
Talk about NFB convention
NFB
being.
convention. All right.
Uh,
So NFB convention will be or will be taking place next. Wait. This guy's trying to
Saturday.
trip me away from my wedding list songs. How dare he?
Hey, I
No,
want
just
to
no,
know though.
just throw it out
I
there.
want to
Just
talk
throw it out
about
there because I remember you because I know that you like to finish a conversation and that's actually a conversation we never finished.
Okay, the NFB convention will be going on next week, July 14th through the 18th, virtually on nfb.org. There are going to be Zoom links. Zoom links already came out with the agenda, actually, and it's already up there to join. The NABS registration, National Association of Blind Students, for all those who are students, the registration closes on July 8th, which is today at the end of the night, I think. Hopefully, I could scurry in there. And there's going to be so many events. Jason, you're a seasoned convention goer. Juliana, you're a seasoned convention goer.
Yep.
Let us know a little bit about how the
oh
NFB
yeah.
convention looks.
So this one's online this time, right?
It is virtual. It is online due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of the sessions are at night too. Like the opening ceremony is like at
Yeah.
6 Eastern. It's gonna be a lot of some sessions are gonna be in the afternoon. A lot of the seminars are in the morning. It's all really different this year. A lot of sessions are gonna be kind of concurring. They have an event platform on their website now where like you can tailor the agenda to what you want, and then if you don't, whatever other event you don't want, it'll like wipe them out and just have your events. And then you can also chat with people on there. So like, hey, who's going to this meeting or that meeting? And then all the other groups and divisions and all of them will host the meetings on Zoom. And they also have YouTube links. So there's a little thing where it says it's live on YouTube. You copy the link, and then you go on Safari or wherever you Chrome or whatever you Bing or whatever. You type that in, and then you paste it, and then you go on the YouTube link, and it's really cool. Exhibit hall is going to be online, which I'm very curious as to how's that going to work. For once, the NFB market independence market will actually be fast for once in their lives. Uh,
Yep.
uh, so I'm excited for that, and yeah, Juliana.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm kind of confused how this online one's gonna work. I just got the schedule in Arizona time earlier in my email. Um, I haven't. I don't know how many people are gonna talk at the same time. If they're gonna mute their microphones, but I'm just glad this time it's free. But I enjoy better the experience of going, but I probably won't be able to go again because I was only able to go to the Florida ones through camps, and then was the I don't know if the one that I
Last year was in Las Vegas. Were you able
yeah
to attend that?
yeah I was able to attend that because Las Vegas is drivable from Arizona, but if it's not drivable, I won't be able to attend any more of them.
Zoe, have you attended conventions, a National Federation of the Blind conventions in the past?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I'm not really connected with any associations like that. I would like to attend certain things.
Well, there's an agenda out for next week's convention with different Zoom links, and Jason talks about the platform. So you could select which event seems suitable for you, or you would gain value from participating in. It's a whole week, so you could find which events you would like to participate in. But the opening ceremonies for sure are a great deal of fun. Would you say, Jason and Juliana?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love this ceremony. It's cool to talk to friends. One of my favorite seminars is the Jaws one. They have a karaoke one. I don't know how they're doing that this year. I don't think they are. They have any like they have any kind of seminar you can think of. They have it. So the opening ceremony definitely is pretty fun. And then
I like the human wear, human wear and
oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
the Jaws seminar, Humanware, Google, Microsoft, Apple, all those are my favorite.
Yeah.
So we talked about ACB highlights earlier and how they helped with the audio descriptive stuff. What are some big things, Jason, Oscar, Juliana, Zoe, that we know the NFB has helped in landmark happening that has made life much easier, much more accessible, and much more equitable for the blind? Because both organizations definitely play
Schools.
positive roles.
Schools.
They don't let the doctor take away your baby if you're blind.
Unfortunately, that has happened a few times, and the NFB will help you with litigating to regain custody of your child. Yes, stuff like that
They
has
they
happened.
they
When
they
they
help.
when they had that presentation a few years ago at the main session about that, it made me really sad.
Do we know if they had any role? Correct me if I'm wrong, Jason. Did they have any role, and Oscar and Juliana and Zoe, if you would know, did they have any role in sort of encouraging Apple to set up the voiceover platform, or was that solely organic happening in Apple?
For I think that was organic, just because Apple, since its start, has always had some kind of accessibility thing that it wanted to create, and Apple's always tried to make itself accessible. Um, NFB didn't tell them, "Hey, create voiceover." So, but they've done a whole bunch of things. The Space Availability Act, where blind veterans can now use public transport, including flying and buses and all of that. They've been helping to fight Lyft and work with Lyft to try and
Yeah.
get them to and Uber to try and get them to allow for us to take guide dogs on there. 1980s, they got us in-person voting assistance, so where you could take someone with you and they can help you vote. That wasn't the case before. The schools, the Independence Market, they have helped in like, for example, if people face workplace discrimination, they've sued. They're now working with Amazon on some accessibility. They are now in court with Walmart for not having accessible kiosks. Um, they help students. They've helped blind
Aim
parents.
high.
Aim high. That's not in yet, but
That's not in, but they're working on it. The
they're
accessible
every
instructional
session.
materials in higher education. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's introduced every single session in Congress, especially I think we're in the 116th Congress, and
Yeah.
so it's introduced again. They do the Washington seminar. They have, I mean, they've done a lot that I can't think off the top of my head. Juliana or Zoe, if you could help out.
I don't know all the things they've done, but
They're
I know.
also working with ATAA, the
Oh yeah.
Affordable Tax Credit for Assistive Technology, which is a tax credit, but that's also in the process of going through Congress. But yes, there's plenty of things they've done. They've participated in litigation that has helped, improve situations on the books and in the public record. So, I say that you might think that there are a whole bunch of lawyers. Pardon me. There are a whole bunch of lawyers who are just practicing litigating everyone, and no, that's not the case at all. The litigation, as is the case with all advocacy groups, is the last resort.
By the way, Naim,
Yes, sir.
I really don't like to leave the record shut off because I'm getting better with trying to have people speak their mind, but do your top 10 real quick before I have to end the recording. Just because I have to throw my phone on the charger.
Okay, he says he has to throw his phone on the charger. I'm going to slim it down to also give other folks the opportunity to comment. So, Perfect by Ed Sheeran, and I think At Last by Etta James had already come up. Those are on my list. I also have If Tomorrow Never Comes by Garth Brooks. I have Boys to Men, I Do, the a cappella version. I have Luther Vandross, Here and Now. I have Stand By Me. I think, you all know there's different renditions of that. And I think someone brought up Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars. But I think the most important one for me is...
If you play that song at your wedding, I will destroy the sound system.
Why?
Okay.
Oscar, you gotta be wrong on that one. That one's a good ass song. I'm sorry, but when a girl hears, I'm sorry.
I just
Hold
have
on.
I have a trauma, family trauma with that song. That's what.
PTSD. He's got some PTSD with that song. He's
All right,
told
so
me about
he'll
in the
wear
past, but
headphones. He'll wear headphones when the song is on, because when a girl's saying, "Don't worry about how you look. You're always pretty. You're always beautiful. You might hate your laugh, but I love it because I love you." I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not a girl, but that melts me, and I'm a guy. I mean, I think Zoe and Juliana can tell us how that. I mean, if a guy told them that, how that would feel. I mean, like,
Yeah, feels good.
It makes me feel good too.
So I think for me, by far though, my favorite one that takes cake. And then
okay,
I know we shouldn't do this, but I do want to make my quick double-edged sword statement for Sarah to hear when she reviews this later, hopefully if she does, because I think it's an important point to raise. But before that, my favorite one, and Oscar, I'm sorry I have to do this. I know you don't want to hear this song either, but I have to sing the first couple lines. Wise men say only fools
Seriously?
rush in.
but
In my opinion, that's more of an engagement song.
hope
Falling in love with you.
as the river flows.
Anyways,
To
um,
that beat.
before we wrap up, I want to get your the viewers that I know that or are you Jason and Naim with making this public? Let's start off with that conversation.
Okay. I am comfortable with making it public. I do want to make it clear, though. We all have to be respectful and cognizant of each other's opinions, of each other's thoughts, of each other's beliefs, and make sure that hopefully we can remain good friends, civilized folks, and well acquainted with each other in the most positive of ways, even if we disagree. It's okay to disagree on matters, but I think it's best to share discourse where we disagree because we will find more agreement than disagreement in proper intellectual discourse. So I'm okay with it being public. If everyone can be respectful of each other's views, and viewers who watch this, be respectful of the views of the hosts and guests here, and also feel free to let us know about your views. We would love to share intellectual discourse with you.
Jason, public or private?
I say public. Now look, I respect people's wishes, but I think anyone who knows that you do have a podcast, it's you. I mean, having a private video doesn't make sense when you're doing a podcast because it is a public podcast anyway. So I think people understanding, hey, I know you're recording for a podcast, therefore this is gonna go public. I understand people might not want that, but I think if you are on a podcast, you kind of have to remember it's not like you didn't say, hey, we're going to do a podcast. You guys said it probably a billion times. So I think public just because, I mean, we already knew it was going to be public. It's not like we discussed anything super like controversial and private and intimate.
You'll take that back when you hear my double-edged sword statement. Then you'll say that's controversial. Anyway, go ahead.
I
Continue.
By the
love
way,
me some controversy.
by the way, I
Yeah.
think that's a conversation that you two need to have with Sarah, possibly on Jason's podcast, just because that's a little bit
Yeah,
more.
what if we did that, Naim? What if we had you
We
and Sarah
can
on my
do that.
podcast?
So we want to do that on your podcast. You're fine with that, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Zoe, Juliana, would any of you guys like to join that conversation? Because you guys were part of this conversation. We were talking about race matters, identity politics, and just terms and tribalism. And I wanted to actually bring up some important points raised by Dr. Cornel West, who I have a high degree of respect for. He has a really good book out. Well, it's been out for a long time. It's called Race Matters by Dr. Cornel West. And all you guys should read it. It should be a mantelpiece on your bookshelf. I'm not trying to indoctrinate anyone here, but it's definitely worth looking into. You should also read some other articles and books that Dr. Cornel West put out and has put out. He's a public intellectual and a deep thinker when it comes to matters of race, social justice, economic equality, and reforming.
That's all a convo for my podcast.
Yeah. What was that?
That's all a convo for my podcast because
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
exactly
it's a really nice conversation. Dr. Cornel West is a public intellectual. So Zoe and Juliana, I know you guys participated in this conversation. So if either of you guys want to join us, be sure to reach out to me or reach out to Jason or the both of us about that. And then Zoe, reach out to me so I can get you forward you the agenda for the convention next week, NFB, if you want to look at any of the events.
Okay.
Do we have any ready commitment from either of you guys, since we got myself and Jason both here right now anyway?
I think I would want to participate in the one about race and like terminology.
Oh,
and stuff
cool.
like that.
We'd love to have you, and we'll see if we could bring Sarah back on. So Sarah's another kind young lady
Naim,
who was
if
with
you
us
could share
earlier,
my
and
contact.
she had dropped off. Yeah, I will.
If you could
So
share my
Zoe,
contact
I'll
with
send you
Zoe.
Jason's
There's an
contact.
easy way you can do that. You just share your contact card into the Skype chat.
Oh yeah, just go ahead and do that. That's a cool idea.
I'm not sure how
Juliana,
to do it, but I'll figure it
Yeah.
out. But yeah, Zoe, if you want to join, or Juliana, I'm down to have you guys.
Yeah, so if any of you guys want to join on that conversation or ever join on Jason's podcast, Jason talks about political matters. He also talks about tech and entertainment, lots of great things. Oscar and I here just talk about anything really.
Anything, yeah.
So check out our previous episodes and our future episodes.
But before,
Wait,
do you
so
guys have any objections with making this public or private?
no. No.
One of
Where
you
can
guys
I
were about
find
to
your
raise something.
previous episodes?
Oh,
Like,
where
Oh,
can you find our previous episodes?
Oh, so we
Oscar,
have
if you could drop a link to our channel in the description, is that possible?
If you can stop talking over me, I was gonna say that, man.
Pardon my disrespect there. I apologize.
I'm just pulling your leg, man.
Well,
Your
I still
tone got
maintain
so
my apology.
serious. You're good. So the link to our podcast is in the the chat down below. And if you don't see it there, I can definitely send it to Naim, and he'll he'll send it to the both of you. So yeah, that's a way you guys can view our episodes. So let's start, Jason. Where can we find you?
Now, and we said everyone else is fine with it being public,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, good. And I'll reach out to Sarah once I can get hold of her because I know she was in earlier, and ask her whether she's fine with her parts being public as well. But viewers, we do ask for respect in the comments below, but we do encourage conversation. So don't feel like you have to hold back your opinions because we're asking for respect. We're asking for respectful yet intellectual discourse. So please drop whatever comments you want below, so long as they maintain a certain level of decorum.
Jason, where can we find you? Oh no, did Jason mute himself?
He is probably sending his
Sorry,
contact out. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I was just trying to send my contact. I just sent it. I heard someone's phone vibrate, so I just
Yeah,
sent my
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
so Zoe or Juliana, if you guys want to get in contact with me about, even if it's not about the podcast, just professionally, or talk about Sam Cook or Italian food, because I love Italian. Whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm down. But you guys can find me at that contact card or Twitter at Fluffy FLUFFY JA97. So at FluffyJA97, and Instagram is at FluffyJA97 as well. And my YouTube channel for my podcast, it's an audio podcast. It's political podcast. I think Oscar can post a description, or if you guys want to contact me, I can give you that too. And yeah, so that's where they can find me, or at a donut shop.
Naim, where can people find you?
Well, if they're going to find Jason at the donut shop, they might as well find me at that ranch getting ready for my wedding. I could be found. I love email conversations because I love to have long and deep and wholesome and rich conversations. So please feel free to email me, anyone and everyone. NM, as in New Mexico, NM, ABU, Abu, ELHAWA, Hawa, at gmail.com. Once again, that is NM for my first and middle initial, Naim Muawiyah, ABU, Abu, ELL, HAWA, Hawa, so NM Abul Hawa at gmail.com. And otherwise, you can feel free to reach out to me in any other capacity. Does anyone who's our guests or hosts, I don't know that I want this information public, but does anyone from our guests or host need my personal phone number?
I already
Nope.
have your number.
Share it on the chat. Don't make that public.
Yeah.
I don't plan on making that public. I just want to make sure everyone here has it if they don't already have it.
What about Juliana and Zoe? Where can people find you guys if you guys want to put that out there?
You can find me on YouTube at 311 JAZZY 311 Jazzy on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram at SONAR_MOV IE_now NOW. Sonar Movie Now with underscores on every word on Instagram.
Oh, if you don't mind, can you post that either in the chat, or I can give you my contact so that way you can send that to me via text, just because I actually needed to, put it in the description and stuff like that.
Yes, I'll put it right now.
Thanks.
Then
And
my
Zoe, oh, go ahead.
my Instagram is joiner.zoe. So my last name is JOYNER.ZOE.
Yeah.
So,
Do you guys
Uh,
want to stay after and talk?
yeah.
yeah, we
Also,
should all hang out.
Yeah.
also, can you also put your stuff also, Zoe, in the chat as well, just so that way.
How do I get to the group? How do I get to the chat from the?
So all you need to do is click on open chat,
Open
and that,
conversation or open
yeah.
chat, and it'll shoot you right in there. And then you'll see all the photos you sent us. You sent us plenty of photos.
Anyways, my name is Oscar Montiel. You can find me on Twitter at OscarJMontiel37. Last name spelled Montiel. My email is OscarJMontiel37@gmail.com. You can find me on YouTube at Oscar Josue Montiel. I'll put that stuff in the chat as well. Other than that, this was the No Nonsense Podcast, guys. Have a good evening.
I have one more question for the viewers, unless any of our guests or our hosts have the answer to this question. So change is gonna come, right? Is the Sam Cooke version of that the original?
No,
Do we know?
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I don't think so.
So-
No, I think that wasn't that Bob Dylan.
No, I don't.
No, that
I know there's a Sam Cooke rendition. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's also an R. Kelly rendition he had done once, but I don't want to give any
wasn't
credit
Sam
to R.
Cooke.
Kelly for anything. Go ahead.
Sam Cooke.
Sam Cooke.
Sam Cooke was actually wasn't a blues singer, but when he entered Motown, because he was more soul and all of that, a lot of the older people, he was already famous before Motown, before he moved. A lot of people, actually, the older generations at that time didn't like that he did that, because, sang oldies, and now he jumped into Motown. If I think Zoe, I think I'm right on that one, right? Is that?
I think
I also enjoy
lot of
some
like
Al
the
Green.
Sam Cooke.
If you guys
sorry.
don't mind, can I end this?
Sure. I guess we could continue having the conversation offline if that works for everyone.